What is up, guys? Check out some of this video for San Francisco. This is crazy, and this is actually spreading outside the Tenderloin district. And this type of scene that we're seeing in San Francisco, it's going to be happening everywhere. You got trash everywhere. You're probably going to be stepping on a couple pieces of poop. You're going to smell urine here and there. And you have vloggers from other countries being absolutely amazed. This is supposed to be our tech capital, and it looks like a third world country. Now, if you take the word San Francisco from this and just give me a scene like this, I'll probably think this was probably from some poverty, war-stricken world. I'm not even joking. This is crazy to just allow this to happen. And that's the thing about San Francisco, right? The city doesn't care. They don't care at all. The businesses are leaving. The companies are leaving. And for the first time in decades, they were actually in a budget deficit. They owe money right now. And that's a shame because a lot of these people have mental health problems, have addiction problems. A lot of them can't afford rent. And there's just a lot of people in need. There's homeless people everywhere, okay? In San Francisco, it's a very expensive place to live. It still is, despite how crappy it is. And here's the thing. You can't actually help these people if your city's going broke. And this is what I don't get, right? Clean up the streets. Clean up the Tenderloin district for once. Clean up the whole entire city. Make it so it's super safe, and companies will naturally come back. And when these companies come back to San Francisco, you tax the hell out of them. And then use the proceeds to help the homeless people on the streets, people with addiction, stuff like that. But how are you supposed to help these people if your city's going completely broke? This guy's literally showing you, the streets of San Francisco. And a lot of this used to be, a pretty decent tourist hub, but now you just have pockets of homeless individuals in front of people's buildings, stuff like that. Now, this is not even that bad. Wait till you start seeing, the massive tents and stuff like that. And, there's even tents everywhere. Apparently, there's even luxury condo buildings where there's tents underneath the building. It's crazy. And I would not dare to park my Tesla in one of these streets because it's definitely getting broken in. Look at this. The street conditions are just absolutely horrendous. Shops are closed. Offices above are empty. You got to be pretty crazy and pretty messed up in your head to open a business here. And even freaking Meta is leaving. So Meta is drastically reducing the San Francisco office space. They don't want to stay in this area, okay? San Francisco is so dangerous for any high executive in San Francisco to just walk around with. So the San Francisco office building obviously is decreasing. And this is a big problem, right? Because you have Salesforce, they're decreasing their workflow, and also people in the area. Block is also decreasing as well, which is Square. You also have other big companies like Charles Schwab, Reddit. They're all decreasing their office space here. And I think even some smaller banks and hedge funds are just straight up leaving. A lot of VCs, those venture capital guys with offices, yeah, they're straight up leaving, okay? Venture capital guys, they don't want to live in the trenches. They want to live so they're nice and pristine. So you're having a lot of these rich VCs moving from nasty San Francisco to places Naples, Florida, Brickell, Miami, Las Vegas, Nevada. You get the idea. They're going to the nicer areas. They don't want to stay in San Francisco, especially how dead the town is. And in the videos, you're probably seeing one thing, right? It's daytime, and the streets are so empty. Whereas in the past, the streets would be crowded with office workers, tourists, everyday people, students. But none of that really exists anymore. Look at how empty some of these streets are. All you will see is spray paint, tents, and this is not a bad part of town, guys. This is actually a pretty decent part of town, and you're already getting graffiti, and the stores are getting more and more empty. And the freakiest thing, the streets are completely empty. There's nobody here, okay? And why would anyone come here? Because the city just doesn't care. Business owners are closing down. And these big tech companies are okay, there's nothing in the city anymore. The city is dead. We're leaving. And you could kind of say one of the reasons why a lot of people are leaving is because a lot of the anchor stores are leaving, right? Nordstrom is leaving. Old Navy has already left. AT&T flagship store is left. You also have Whole Foods leaving. Grocery stores shutting down. Mom and pop stores, small cafes all closing. So there's not even anything fun to do. If you're a rich guy, you can't even park your Ferrari on the street because it's definitely going to get broken in the first minute you get out of. It's probably going to be broken in while you're driving. And I'm going to check this out. Okay, San Francisco's downtown was never going back to the way it was. Salesforce CEO Now, this is a big deal because Salesforce is the company that made the tallest skyscraper in San Francisco, dubbed the Salesforce Tower. And I'm pretty sure they really regret building that skyscraper because it's like over 50% vacant right now. Not to mention there's a skyscraper right next to them that's actually leaning. The Millennium Tower is actually, they're tilting every single day and there's sewer water coming up in the condo buildings. So you got the Salesforce guy saying it's dead, okay? Meta is already decreasing their space. And not to mention, Meta and Red Hat, which is under IBM, is canceling events set for San Francisco. This is a big deal. Okay, so you're San Francisco. The only reason why you're a prestigious tech capital is because of these big tech companies. There are nothing without these tech companies. You're just another slab of concrete, another random city. And the reason why San Francisco is so cool was you got like Tech Disrupt. You also have these events. You got APEC. But right now, the APEC event, which is like for Asian Pacific countries and their economic forum, stuff like that, they're thinking about perhaps switching from San Francisco to someone else because San Francisco is just way too dangerous. Okay, we even seen like some like embassy beef going on in San Francisco. You got like graffiti everywhere. You got people with luxury mansions literally having poop in front of their houses and also graffiti and stuff like that. And we're seeing Meta and Red Hat. They're like, okay, the street conditions in San Francisco is so bad that this is probably not a city for investors to be walking around with because by next year, this will get worse. Okay, so you walk through this, okay? This is not even the bad part of town, guys. This is supposed to be a pretty decent part of town. And you're already getting this. I don't think investors want to walk through this, okay? And don't even bother calling the police, guys. It's not going to work. Calling the police is basically just calling like a robot that's not going to do anything. Now, I'm sure the police want to do something, but they simply can't. And like I said before, this is actually a pretty decent area. Okay, this is kind of like where all the stores, the shops are. The buildings and condos up there are actually worth a lot of money, but not anymore. Streets are never clean in San Francisco. And if you even go to like the waterfront area, it's also just filled with rubbish and garbage and all stuff like that. And it's just bad. It's bad for business, guys. And nobody wants to stay here. San Francisco guys, we're eating out. Salesforce is we're also decreasing the office. And Uber is also decreasing their office space in San Francisco by 1/3. That's crazy. Look at this. San Francisco residents voice fears of leaving homes after dark. My mom even got her car stolen. It's not even about if her car gets broken in anymore. It's about if her whole entire car is even there the next morning. And that's pretty wild. All right, especially for a tech city like San Francisco. Guys, if you go to a lot of other cities like Shanghai, go to Tokyo, go to Hong Kong, Singapore. If you go to a lot of these, first world Asian cities, if you go at night, the streets are usually packed with people shoulder to shoulder. Watch some of the 4K night tours, and you'll actually see a lot of those cities. They're packed. There's people everywhere. But San Francisco, it feels like at night, it turns to straight Gotham mode. It's just crime and just degeneracy at night. Nobody wants to go out. And it's just a scary thing. I mean, I wouldn't want to go out because there's not even that many people outside. And if you look at, the girls in San Francisco, they actually talk about how it's super scary, even in the daytime, to be walking alone in San Francisco because you either get you might even get mugged. Apparently, there's a lot of sexual harassment there. There's some sexual assault cases increasing in San Francisco. It's a pretty crazy city if you want to move in. And there's not even like the tech scene anymore. Most of the tech scene have already left. I mean, go to San Francisco. What we're going to see is going to be one big thing. Nothing ever really happens. There's nothing there anymore. And it's so sad because this is such a great city, right? The location's great. The weather's great. It's a peninsula. It's nicely packed. And I guarantee you, if San Francisco cleaned itself up and they dubbed themselves the safest city in the U.S., and they also dubbed themselves one of the cities with like the greatest standards of living in terms of culture and stuff like that, people will be willing to pay $1 million for one bedroom. Like people literally would if you say San Francisco is one of the cleanest and safest places in America, but they're not. And this is why housing prices are dropping. And don't even think that these housing prices are real. Some of these housing prices are fake. And you could easily negotiate these prices down another 30%. And that's what I've seen from a lot of people. And like I said before, I'll really talk about this later on, but you also have the Safeway stores adding gates. It's wild. So not that great, and I hope San Francisco fixes itself together. I really hope, the council, the mayor in San Francisco really, get things together, because it's not too late, but it's getting to the point where it's too late. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later, and like, comment, and subscribe.